there's some players who are untouchable in the NBA. LeBron, Steph, and maybe even Giannis. But then there's Jimmy Butler, the human embodiment of clutch. The guy who strives when the lights are brightest. The don't even think about it kind of player. Trading him is like tossing your last slice of pizza fresh out of the oven and straight into the trash. It's an unforgivable offense. Now, I know NBA fans love a good debate, but sometimes one comes along that makes you pause. Are people seriously discussing trading Jimmy Butler? I mean, this isn't just a bad move, it's a franchise suicide. And yet, the unthinkable happened. Jimmy Butler is now a Golden State Warrior. And Miami fans are left asking, how did we let this happen? Before we even talk about Butler's next chapter in Golden State, let's take a moment of silence for what Miami just lost. I mean, let's look at what Miami was before Jimmy Butler arrived and what it became the moment he stepped through those doors.
The field goal. Ron Artest strong enough to finish even with the foul. Now having words with Heat assistant coach Keith Askins. And Pat Riley is fired up. Artest been hit with a technical foul. James, here he comes, hitting ahead for Wade. There he goes. Oh!
Before Butler, the Heat were stuck in NBA purgatory. Good enough to make the playoffs some years, but never good enough to win it all. They needed someone who could bring back that edge, that relentless drive that made Miami. And then, Jimmy stepped through those doors, and suddenly, the Heat were back in the finals, knocking off championship favorites left and right. Let's be real, the NBA has plenty of regular season stars, players who rack up stats like they're playing my career on rookie difficulty. But when it's crunch time in the playoffs, that's when the real ones show up. And no one flips the switch like Jimmy Butler.
Picks him up, one-on-one. Butler backs in. That fall-away shot is up and good. 34 for Butler. It's an 8-point lead.
Take the 2020 bubble, for example. Miami wasn't even supposed to be in the finals. Milwaukee was the team to beat. The Celtics were young and dangerous, and the Lakers had LeBron and AD. But Jimmy didn't care. He dragged Miami through one of the grittiest playoff runs we've ever seen. Then came Game 3 of the finals. No Bam, no Dragic. Just Jimmy going toe-to-toe with LeBron, putting up a 40-point triple-double to keep Miami alive. The image of him hunched over the railing, exhausted after carrying the Heat to victory, is one of the greatest moments in finals history. He single-handedly dragged the team of underdogs to the finals and gave the Lakers more than they bargained for. It was like watching a superhero save the day in the middle of a Marvel movie. But this time, the villain was LeBron James and the Lakers. And if you thought this was his peak, oh buddy, you haven't been paying attention. Jimmy Butler doesn't peak, and what better way to prove this than the season 2023?
It's loose. The lead, Jimmy Butler. And Giannis was trying to call timeout.
The Heat barely made it to the playoffs as an 8th seed. Matched up with the Milwaukee Bucks, the best team in the league, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just when the world counted Miami out, Butler did what he always does. Jimmy averaged over 28 points per game, leading the Heat, an 8th seed, past the Bucks, a team with the best record in the NBA. He completely outplayed Giannis and Drew Holiday, dropping 56 points in one of the greatest playoff performances ever witnessed. Beyond his skills and on-court talent, do you know what makes Jimmy special? He doesn't just play well, he makes everyone around him better. Since his arrival, Bam Adebayo has become an all-star. Tyler Hero lipped, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent went from overlooked to key contributors. Jimmy Butler isn't just a superstar. He raises the standard of everyone in the beauty. Now, we all know the Heat doesn't tank, nor do they rebuild. Without Jimmy Butler, they became exactly what they were before he arrived. Too good to bottom out and not good enough to win it all. So there's literally no trade scenario that makes Miami better by moving Jimmy Butler.
I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
But despite all the hustle, the cracks started to show. January 2025, the Miami hit the pause button on Jimmy Butler's show, suspending him for 7 games due to multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team, which is just a fancy way of saying, bro, you're doing too much. Then came the leaks. Butler was reportedly fed up and even told people he couldn't see himself being happy in Miami anymore. A few weeks later, he straight up missed the team flight to Milwaukee, which brings us to suspension number 2. And then January 27 came, the moment the house of cards collapsed. Butler found out Haywood Highsmith was taking his starting spot. He didn't just object, he left the practice, and the Heat didn't hesitate. It was a case of indefinite suspension. At that point, the writing wasn't just on the wall, it was bold, all caps, underlined twice. And then, boom, February 2025. The Butler era in Miami officially ended in a chaotic 5-team blockbuster trade that sent him to the Golden State Warriors. With Andrew Wiggins and some asset heading to South Beach. But Butler wasn't done making moves. He declined his player option and immediately signed a 2-year, $121 million extension with the Warriors. Oh, and to make it even more personal, he switched things up on his jersey, choosing to wear Butler 3 as a tribute to his late father.
Free throws. Listen, he gets a lot of free throws. He's had seasons where he shot around 9 free throws a game, at least 3 of them. But here's the great pass from Jimmy Butler.
Everything happened so fast. Fast forward to 2 days later, and Butler wasted 0 time making an impact. In his Warriors debut, he scored 25 points in a dominant win over the Bulls. By March, he already notched a triple-double in Warriors colors because, let's be honest, the man doesn't have an off switch. The question isn't just why did Miami trade Jimmy Butler, it's what happens when you trade a player like Jimmy Butler. The Heat has always refused to tank or rebuild, but now they are exactly what they were before Jimmy arrived. A solid playoff team with no real shot at winning a championship. Miami got younger, sure, they have some nice pieces, but no matter how you spin it, they lost their leader and backbone. It's a little worse than the Mavs and Luka situation. While one side is missing out, the Golden State just got a whole lot scarier. Butler brings a different kind of energy. He's not a volume 3-point shooter like the rest of the team, but his relentless two-way play fits perfectly alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Imagine the defensive intensity of Draymond and Butler, combined with the offensive brilliance of Curry. It's terrifying. Some critics argue that Butler doesn't fit the Warriors' finesse-heavy system, but that's missing the point. He doesn't need to fit the system. He becomes the system. He brings the grit and tenacity that the Golden State have been missing in recent playoff runs. And for those worried about his age, is there some kind of expiration date for greatness? As if leadership, experience, and a history of dominating when it matters most somehow becomes irrelevant. LeBron James is 40, Kevin Durant is 35, Steph Curry is 37, and these players don't rely on speed or athleticism. They rely on skill, experience, and an elite basketball IQ that allows them to control the game year after year. Jimmy Butler belongs in the same category. His game isn't built on highlight reel dunks or flashy plays. He doesn't need to outrun defenders. He outthinks them. That's not something that fades away with age. Now, it's your turn. Would you trade a player like Jimmy Butler? Drop your takes in the comments. And if you thought Miami's decision to move on from Jimmy was shocking, just wait until you see the dumbest trades in NBA history.